Yeah, I mean, I've been very impressed with Shellz. We were all kind of wondering, is this going to be the tournament he finally shows up and shows what he was made of from previous FIFAs? Of course, we saw him at the E-Club World Cup perform well with Man City getting to those quarterfinals, but individually, it has surprised us that he hasn't been at more tournaments, at these big majors, but he's finally here. He's showing up. On the other side, for Maestro, I mean, we've seen him since the start of the season. He's been there or thereabouts. He impressed us at Paris Games Week, for example. A very attacking player, as mentioned on the desk, one of the highest goal scorers in the tournament, only second to FIFA Houston, to M10 Houston at the moment.
No surprise there.
Yeah, we're not really surprised, but now with Houston eliminated from the tournament, this is a chance for Maestro to overtake him with goals scored and potentially get to the console final.
And I think it's a great point that the guys on the desk were making about how close Shellz could potentially get to the World Cup finals, not just the playoffs, if he manages to win the PlayStation bracket here in London. But we're underway in our last semi-final here on the PlayStation 4, of course. Maestro will be playing in the white away France kit, and Shellz will be playing in the Manchester City kit, shooting from right to left here at the start of this game. Dan, what are your early thoughts on it? You haven't really given us your prediction.
It's hard to try and predict against either of them because they've both been playing so well. Maestro is definitely going to go at Shellz. But if we remember the games we watched of Shellz in the early stages of this competition, very good at reading the game, very good defensively, predicting every move of his opponent, which made it very difficult to break him down. If he can find that same prediction, that same read against Maestro, then he should be in a good standing here.
Well, first opportunity might go to Maestro. The little Cruyff turn and the drag back almost created just a pocket of space to look to strike it there, but Shellz defended it well, and Shellz, as you say, reading the game seems to be the name of the game for him when it comes to his defensive play, and that's something that's so tough to do. You really need to know your opponent you're coming up against.
Yeah, I mean, you can do all the research in the world, you can play against that opponent, but at the same time, you just have to be a good FIFA player and have knowledge of what the meta is and what players should be doing in certain situations, and know when they're going to be bluffing to go for something a little bit different. But it's not just been Shellz's defense, his attacking has also been phenomenal as well. I mean, his result against Joksan says that in the quarterfinals, and that's why he's here in the semi-final. And he does have a really good chance of taking this whole PlayStation bracket.
And he also has a lot of support here in the arena. A lot of UK-based players want their boy to do well here and go the whole way on the PlayStation 4. Unfortunately, he could have dragged that one out of play with a cricketer, and Maestro can start his attack. But I want to talk about Maestro and how impressive a tournament this has been to him. One of the silkiest players going forward I think I've been watching the whole tournament.
He just has this really nice style of play where he knows how he wants to attack. He's very strict with how he attacks. He's not going to change things up too much. He will be resilient, and he will keep trying the same things, and it's usually through balls like that.
Well, it took some good goalkeeper movement there from Shellz to make that save. He gambled, and it paid off for him there, but the first real chance of the game there falling to Maestro, and he wasn't able to put that one away. And now Shellz goes forward. Varane versus Neymar. A couple of fake shots away from his man there. He was sticking tight to his task. Ronaldo comes deep to collect the ball. Vieira back to Cristiano Ronaldo. Takes a shot from distance, but not going to trouble the goalkeeper there. But the first shot of the game for Shellz. Just reminding Maestro of exactly who he's coming up against.
Yeah, I like taking a couple of shots just to start it off and say, I am happy to take long-distance shots if you're not going to press me. Encourage the press a little bit more, and then Shellz can utilize his ability on the ball to then take it round the man that presses him inevitably after he's seen those shots on target.
Well, here's R9, heel to heel, and you know he only needs half a yard to unleash a strike which can find the back of the net here. Hullet plays it off to Vieira. Dangerous stuff here for Maestro. Takes the shot from distance. Shellz. The ball falls back to him. Little shimmy, but he can't get the shot away. Third stage of this attack then for Shellz. Neymar now into R9 and into the back of the net. There's the roar from Shellz. He takes the lead.
A couple of fortunate balls just fall into his feet, but he was resilient in how he just kept passing it to another player, and another player searching for that right bit of space. And then found R9, who has finished so many goals already this tournament, and gives Shellz the lead. And now, one thing that has impressed me throughout the tournament is when Shellz has a lead, he has been very good at keeping it. Whether it be 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, he presses on, he defends well, and then he manipulates the pitch in his favour so that he can get some good counter-attacks on the go as well.
And this tournament really has served as a reminder to everyone who's been competing this season in FIFA 19 what a talent Shellz is. It's easy to forget about it sometimes when you don't see him how these tournaments week in, week out, but he has such talent and ability, and we're seeing it here in London. At the first FUT Champions Cup that he's managed to qualify for, making it all the way to the semi-finals. And he's looking to go one step more here, make it to that final. And at the moment, he's controlling this game as he comes forward now with Ramos.
And it's us witnessing again how just one good tournament can shape a season for a lot of these players. He was on 669 Global Series ranking points before he started this tournament. I mean, that's the equivalent of going out of about maybe 5 Swiss rounds in FUT Cups. He didn't need to. This is his first FUT Cup now, and if he wins this game, he gets 850 Global Series ranking points. He's already going to be doubling that amount. And I feel like he already knows now he's done enough to get to playoffs, but he's going to start thinking about the bigger picture, about pressing on and joining those players right at the top of those leaderboards.
I think I'd call that an efficient season so far from Shellz as far as qualification is concerned, but he has left himself with a lot to do, but he's performing so well here in London. Marcelo wins the ball back for Maestro then. Around 10 minutes to go until the half-time break here. And apart from that early shot on goal that was dealt with well by the goalkeeper movement from Shellz, not been too much to write home about so far from Maestro, one of the players who I was kind of lauding for his attacking play.
And not only are they playing for Global Series ranking points, playing for some prize money here as well. We're starting to get to the stages now where some serious money is up for grabs. 15,000 if you win and get into a console final, which I'm sure both of these players would be more than happy to put away into their bank after this tournament.
Well, here's Shellz coming forward again. Vieira and Hullet, the dynamic duo who hold down the midfield in so many of these pros starting lineups. Trying to link together to find an opening, but Maestro's defending this well, and now he's using the pace of Mbappe and looking to release Cristiano Ronaldo, but Varane had to get across there, but sloppily given away here by Shellz.
Good tracking again, though, from Shellz defensively, just moving his fullbacks and his centre-backs into positions where those through balls are going to be able to be cut out. It can be risky, and if he does make even the slightest mistake defensively, there are going to be opportunities for Maestro. So he has to be very aware of that.
Well, here is Neymar then, trying to twist and turn away from the attentions of the defenders, but again, Shellz, his defence has been exemplary so far in this game, as it has been for the majority of the tournament so far. Picking up a free kick there just before the half-time whistle. Absolutely perfect, because it means that Shellz will go into the break here in London in our PlayStation 4 semi-final with a goal advantage.
And it'll be very good if Shellz can keep this lead and start to press on. I mean, Maestro is not an easy player to break down. You can see by his last 4 results on the right-hand side of your screen there, that's only 4 goals he's conceded in the last 4 ties he's played. And for Shellz, he's also got a pretty good defensive record as well. Only 9 goals conceded this tournament, 30, so he's plus 21. He is looking very scary.
That's a scary record.
If he can take down Maestro here, I'm sure Lev Vinken is going to be looking at it saying, actually, maybe my unbeaten record could come to an end.
So back underway then. Shellz will have possession here from the kickoff. Look to create the first attack here of this second half of the first leg. Mbappe. Good standing tackle there from Paolo Maldini. Now the play is going to be spread out wide to Marcelo. Back inside to Hullet. A nice patient stuff here. You can see 11 players behind the ball, though, for Shellz. Keeping his shape defensively, and that's one thing he's so good at, just keeping his shape, but also his player switching and the timing of his tackles down.
This is how Maestro can kind of counter-attack that by bringing his centre-backs and his full-backs into position so that he has more options going forward, so that it's more difficult for Shellz to kind of spread that defense wide and cover every single angle. If there are enough white shirts around, he cannot physically cover all of those angles. It'll give Maestro just more choices. But again, the reading of the play from Shellz, just bringing that one extra man back, cutting that passing lane, and Maestro playing right into the hands of Shellz.
And that's a fantastic ball over the top as well. Finding Mbappe now, who managed to get away from the attentions of Sergio Ramos for just long enough to get a little bit of space. That Team of the Year FUT does manage to get back into position to make a tackle, but it's still going to be possession here with Shellz. Mbappe skips past the tackle, looks towards that back post. Vieira now, down to Neymar. Beautiful fake shot. De Gea has to make the save here for Maestro. Great patience again here from Shellz. As he whips it in towards that front post, De Gea clears it away.
Some really good opportunities for Shellz, but opportunities that he knows he needs to be tucking away, to be honest. Not the best shot at the end of things with Neymar there, but it almost crept past the keeper. If he managed to find a little bit of timing, maybe going for a low driven. Does need to be careful on these wings though, but that's what Marcelo's there for, to try and match the pace of some of these incredibly fast foot items.
Well, here comes Maestro, just shows too much of that with a heavy touch inside to Patrick Vieira. Didn't need a second invitation to come and win the ball back. Speaking of winning the ball back, Vitality's Maestro does that himself, and now inside the last half hour of our first leg here in the semi-final on the PlayStation. Can he find a way through this wall that Shellz has put up at the moment? The answer, at this time anyway, is no for now.
Just reminds me of the kind of last 16 and the quarterfinals as well. Shellz just denying his opponents any possession in the final third of the pitch and frustrating them almost, and then hitting them on counter-attacks like this.
Ball in towards the back post, and Ronaldo gets up highest. And Ronaldo doubles the lead here for Shellz. And with the way he's been defending down a 2-goal lead here for the Englishman, it's got to feel good.
He's going to be more than happy with how he's approached the defence and then hitting him on the counter and then taking advantage of that back post header. Maestro needs to bring something else to the table. Hasn't been able to break through the middle of the park. Hasn't been able to get into those dangerous areas as much as he would have been used to with the amount of goals he's scored this tournament. But there is a reason why he scored a lot of goals this tournament. He has a lot of variety and versatility when he is going forward. He just needs to try and get past this prediction master that is Shellz. He has to try and be unpredictable, but that's difficult to do.
It is almost like at the moment defensively, Shellz just has this crystal ball and knows exactly what his opponents are trying to do. At the same time, he's been so effective going forward. Another Cristiano Ronaldo header to add to the tally for this tournament. And now Maestro needs to find a way back into this game, Dan, because he hasn't really shown the life that we expect from him, we have seen so far in this tournament.
I'd like to see him take advantage of the left wing a little bit more because Marcelo is pressing so high with Mbappe. He should find space.
Well, there's a bit of space here for Ronaldo, but again, as that space opens up, Shellz moves his goalkeeper across to close that space down. Ronaldinho battling to get the ball back, and he has managed that. Beautiful stuff here, a couple of elasticos, but the shot just letting Maestro down just at the last second there when he had a sight of goal.
A lot better, though, from Maestro going forward. He does need to start throwing some skill moves into the mix now. That is one way of being unpredictable, by bringing out every tool that you have, every skill move you've learned across FIFA 19. The majority of these pros, if not all of them, should know every skill move off by heart at this point. You just have to put them all into action, try and chain them together to try and find the most success.
15 minutes left in our first leg. If Shellz can go into the second leg with a 2-goal advantage and the way he's been playing, he's going to start thinking about that place in the final. But another goal here for Shellz. And you have to start thinking that Maestro's got to be thinking about crashing out the tournament. Still time left in this one, though. Shellz goes down the line here, trying to find Pele. But that pass just overhit. Runs out of play here for a goal kick.
Shellz is one of the few players this tournament who's had several 0-0 first legs and second legs right up to the end of games. His defensive record really has been phenomenal. Rivaled by very few in this tournament, to be honest. And he's got a chance again with Pele coming into the box.
Pele now with the drag back. A couple of drag backs here from Shellz. A little half drag back as well. Almost toying with Maestro here, but the Italian steps in. Maldini again in that centre-back spot here for Maestro. Shellz keeping possession though. Another drag back here from Pele. 9 minutes left on the clock. Oh no, it's free at the back post. And you can see the anguish on Shellz's face because he knew he didn't get that timing quite right in the header.
And it's because he knows how quickly a game like this can turn around in the second leg. He needs to be putting these chances away when he's presented with them, because he may not get as many chances in leg number 2 when naturally Maestro is going to come at him a little bit quicker. And he's going to start to throw more men forward. He's going to get more aggressive with his formation changes. So Shellz is just going to be saying now, all right, I need to put these chances away.
So the name of the game now, with just 9 minutes left, plus stoppage time, of course, for Shellz, this is just limit Maestro to opportunities, and you know, the way that the game has panned out so far, you shouldn't have too many problems with that, because he has really not allowed the Frenchman to create anything of note. And he still has possession of this ball, and he's been valuing the possession of the ball as well, especially in these attacking areas, in these positions that we see now taken up by Pele. Eusebio now, Criqueta past one, Maldini left on his back for a second, Ronaldo's there again! And Ronaldo repeats the dosage! 3 to the good now, Shellz. And Maestro just has no answer.
And Shellz is starting to get pumped as well, and I think that's a bad sign for Maestro. So I feel like Shellz is one of these players who starts to play better and better the more belief he has in himself. And the bad news for Maestro is Shellz has not conceded more than 3 goals in any leg so far, in any tie so far this tournament, which means that Maestro would have to break that pattern if he was to get back into this game.
9 goals conceded by Shellz in the entire tournament.
3 of them were against Filza in Swiss.
Exactly, 3 of them in one game, so that just shows how tight Shellz has been defensively. And I think the fact that he's found ways to score in these games as well, you know, we can see how effective these back post headers have been for him so far. Utilising that matchup we talk so much about. And it's created 2 opportunities and 2 goals for him here in this semi-final.
And Maestro sits back and starts to look a little bit dejected and frustrated. However, he just still needs to keep his chin up.
Here's Mbappe, then goes near post! Wow, the power on that one. Ricocheted the ball out with such force. But for Shellz, he's going to be happy that the ball did ricochet out and didn't cross the goal line there to make it 3-1, because that would have been the boost that Maestro would have needed.
It's one of those situations, Mark, where it would have been the boost. However, it might be doing exactly the opposite, because he's collided with the post there. He's going to be feeling even more frustrated now. And he's not even going to get one last chance in this first leg.
Shellz might, though. He won't in that particular situation, as the referee decides to bring the game to a halt here. And after the first leg, I mean, it couldn't have gone better for Shellz there, limiting his opponents to any kind of real chances, and also finding 3 goals as well. It was almost the perfect semi-final performance from him.
It's just his defensive display which almost frustrates his opponent, but then going forward, he knows how he wants to score as well. We look at the results that he's had, that he kept Joxan to just 1 goal, he kept Dami to just 1 goal, like players who know how to score against big players in big tournament settings. But Shellz is staying strong, staying confident. He's doing that in this semi-final against Maestro, who's one of the top goal scorers in this tournament.
And as his confidence builds and builds and builds, he becomes an even more scary prospect for the rest of the season as well. Not just here in London. His performance has been sublime, but certainly going to be a name that no one's going to really want to be matching up against at the moment, because he's found effective ways to win games here on FIFA 19.
And I mean, we're seeing Marcelo beaten at the back post by Cristiano Ronaldo yet again. And I've seen comments on Twitter and people talking about, well, why are people playing Marcelo? What's the benefits of playing Marcelo? Of course, joining the attack, he is fantastic going forward, but we saw how effective Hullet at left-back was for Rebel Stokes, for Levinken, who I think used him yesterday as well. We're starting to see different tactics approach to try and combat this back post header from Cristiano Ronaldo, because he's just too strong in the air.
Yeah, it's such a tough decision sometimes. We are seeing it time and time again, though, that back post header, and we know how good Marcelo is with the standing tackle, with that pace, and as you say, going forward offers so much as well. But certainly an area that Shellz has managed to take advantage of, we should say, with those crosses in towards Cristiano Ronaldo, winning those headers at the back post. But now for Shellz, it's just a case of same again. It's as simple as that for him. Play exactly the same game here and force Maestro to change up his game.
It's funny because usually when there's a 3-goal lead or a 2-goal lead, I'll be saying to you, well, I don't want to see the player just turtle up into their shell. Well, actually, Shellz can do this because that's what he's been doing so well. He doesn't need to change anything. He's been playing a defensive game. He has been sitting back. He has been absorbing that pressure, but he's been doing it so successfully that it's been really causing a lot of damage to Maestro's game. So he can just be feeling so relaxed going into this second leg. I mean, I know he's not going to be because he's going to be nervous as hell. However, he should just be happy that he's playing how he wants to play FIFA and he's doing well on it.
So Maestro, what's going to change here? How do you combat the wall that Shellz is putting up at the moment? Because there seems to be no way through for him at the moment. There's a couple of shots towards the end of the game where he managed to kind of find just half a yard of space to hit a couple of low-driven shots, but even then, you saw the goalkeeper movement from Shellz was almost closing down that space. He'd recognized he'd been beaten in a particular area. It just seems like he's got every asset of his defensive play on point at the moment.
I would like to see Maestro use the left wing a little bit more with the fact that Marcelo is on the pitch. He is joining the attack. Play some 1-2s between Marcelo and Mbappe rather than just trying to play that through ball every single time to Mbappe on the left, which is being counteracted by Shellz, constantly tracking that run, switching to that right back, not giving Mbappe that space. Instead, double tap that R1 button, bring Mbappe close, play one pass, run with Marcelo, play another, run with Mbappe, and just try and play around that right back so that you generate yourself that space. It's easier said than done because, of course, then Shellz is going to bring more defending players to try and press with a second man, but I really think the left wing is that key area against Shellz.
We'll have to see here how this second leg does pan out. Of course, the tournament isn't over after this game. We've still got 2 console finals to bring you at home, as well as our cross-console final. And talking about the tournament, Dan, I mean, who do you think is the favourite right now? Because it's a scary thing to sort of start speculating on as we're getting towards those finals, but who's impressed you today?
I mean, we've still got 2 Xbox semi-finals as well. Don't
yeah,
get
of course, I'm getting ahead of myself. Wow.
I know it's exciting, but still so much action to come. I mean, Texas doing well, Dasari's doing well. Are they going to get to that console final to have this rivalry that's building? Or are we going to see players like Rebel Stokes who are just going to be able to get in the way? Players like Battle Cat, perhaps. They're just going to be saying, no, we're not going to allow you to have your guys' rivalry. We're going to step in. We're going to be a third wheel here.
Could certainly upset the storylines as far as I'm sure the storyline that everyone at home wants to see. Obviously, they want to see that Tex-Dasari matchup. And, you know, we've seen a little bit of back and forth from them, not only on the stage, but on social media as well. But you can see some of the goals here that obviously put Shellz into the position he's in at the moment. A little bit fortunate here, but again, we talk about the fact that, you know, sometimes you have to just keep concentrating after these little situations in play, should we say, occur where the ball kind of bobbles about and you get a little bit lucky to get the ball back. You have to be able to recycle. You have to be able to take advantage of these situations.
It's about reacting quickly. It's what the best players do well. It's a lot of times when you see a normal FIFA player get into a situation where the ball bobbles to them, they just hammer that shoot button or they hammer that pass button in hope that they get even more lucky. But Shellz doesn't do that. He knows exactly how he wants to approach it.
And Shellz is watching these replays. You can see at the moment on the stage right next to him. I don't think Maestro is watching them. He's got his head down thinking about the next game. And I think that Shellz might have just heard that. I saw a little smile creep across his face for just a moment there. He is feeling pretty good, obviously, after the first leg. But, I mean, how impressive has Shellz been this tournament? Because we need to put this into context for some people who might be, you know, watching their first FUT Champions Cup here and going, where has Shellz been the whole tournament? You know, what? Sorry, the whole year, should I say. They know where he's been the whole tournament. He's been dominating everyone. But where's he been? Why has it taken this long for him to reach this pinnacle?
Sometimes players do just kind of come out of the woodwork a little bit late in the season. It can be down to patches, it can be down to certain metas in the game. Maybe the original patch on FIFA 19 and the long-range finesse meta that we had didn't suit the playstyle of Shellz, but now this slow, methodical passing game that he can play really suits him. And the defensive record, I mean, at tournaments we spoke of Joxan and how good he was at defending, Nicholas, how good he was defending, Tex, how good he is. But I tell you what, this defensive record, 9 goals conceded so far in the tournament, is one of the best defensive records we've seen all season.
And it's something that Jimmy Conrad has been hammering home on the desk as well. Defense wins championships. And with Shellz defending the way that he is at the moment, he's certainly in contention for a championship here at the final FUT Champions Cup in London. We're back underway then, after that little pause, and there might be a first opportunity of the game here going to Maestro. The pace of Paolo Maldini, managing to keep that space ahead of Neymar, who was chasing him down, and win the ball back. And I'm trying to keep an eye on things at the moment. I think that there might have been a change to a 4-4-2 here from Maestro, so we're going to have to see how that plays out now.
I think that would be better for him. There's going to be more players joining the attack. He's going to have more options on both wings, but if he keeps going down the middle and keeps playing in the centre of the pitch, I feel like that's going to play into Shellz's hands.
Well, look at the space here for Shellz with more players getting forward. There's more space in behind. Neymar's going to collect the pieces here for Shellz. Some fancy footwork, little step over away from one. Little McGeady spin inside, and Shellz almost creating something out of nothing here at the start of the second leg.
And that's the ability that he does have. It's not just a defensive display that we're seeing from him. On the ball, he shows sheer confidence in his dribbling ability. And there, just a nice use of the offside trap as well, bringing a couple of those players forward so that that through ball couldn't happen. He has a little bit of everything at the moment, Shellz, and he's making it look very easy against a player of Maestro who has made it look very easy against other players in the tournament.
And I've got to give some props here to Maestro. You know, he recognised that first leg. We've got to put it in layman's terms here. It couldn't have gone worse for him. 3-0 down after the first leg, not really creating too much going forward. He's gone for an early change of formation. He's realised that situation, and he's trying to at least try some different tactical approaches to this game, Dan, to try and find his way back into this.
I mean, main tactical changes. I think Van Dijk's now come in at left back instead of Marcelo. He's clearly seen that Ronaldo's won too many headers for his liking, and he wants Van Dijk to challenge him instead.
Well, here's Neymar with a cricketer, and there might be a chance to strike it. The timing was good, but the body's in the way again here for Shellz. Doing the defensive heavy work for him. And now Neymar can come away. Hullit's trying his best to chase back at the Brazilian.
This is the only downside of taking Marcelo off and putting Van Dijk on, is there is going to be options over the top through balls, long through balls past Van Dijk. Even though Van Dijk, Team of the Year, is an amazing foot item, it doesn't quite have the same pace as Marcelo. So maybe now Shellz can start to take advantage of this change from Maestro.
Maestro comes forward then, Neymar. This 4-4-2 giving him more options going forward, and Marcelo showing that when the ball's on the ground, there's not many better defensively than him in that full-back position. Wins the ball back for Shellz. Ronaldo now streaming forward here, Shellz. CR7 to R9, to Mbappe. Everyone's having a touch of it, but Varane comes in and spoils the party just for the meantime. Neymar stops up. Little half drag backs, just teasing Maestro here, Shellz. And it's actually Sergio Ramos who has to stretch and extend that leg out to get the interception. But Maestro has looked more dangerous going forward, but at the back he's looked more open.
I've got to say Shellz still looks scary going forward as well, though. He's got a great read on the game defensively, but he's doing the same offensively as well.
Oh, Sergio Ramos, that is a timely interception there, because Mbappe was steaming down on goal.
He's just attacking the right side of the attacker every single time with the defender. He's predicting whether it's going to be a drag back, so then he attacks the back of the defender. He thinks it's going to be a cricketer, so he attacks the front of the defender. Everything has been spot on for Shellz. But even if he makes a mistake now, he still has that cushion. That's the advantage of how well he's played in leg number 1.
Vieira picks the ball up in midfield here for Shellz then. Goes for that long distance shot to try and catch the goalkeeper off guard. And I like that little idea there from Shellz.
Just checking that Maestro's still awake and still prepared to actually defend, and it's not just going to be an attacking game for him.
Well, Neymar's going to stretch for that one, and the ball will just ricochet to Cristiano Ronaldo. You saw the despair on Maestro's face there. Pass not connecting quite in the way that he would have wanted. And again, Shellz now can come forward. There's space just between the centre-back pairing and those two central defensive midfielders now, where he obviously has Neymar into that cam position and could really be an influence on this game.
And look how much now Shellz is targeting this right-hand side of Van Dijk being at left-back. He's saying, all right, well, you're going to put Van Dijk there. I'm going to take advantage of that and just throw Ronaldo for through balls constantly. And also trying to hit them from distance just to make sure that Maestro is switched on with his goalkeeper movement.
Well, here's Marcelo then for Shellz. Trying to find the ball to Cristiano Ronaldo, and we haven't seen as many crosses, we have to say, from Shellz in this second leg, and Neymar's trying to skip away from the tackle here, and he manages to keep possession, and look at the space here for R9. Big chance here for Maestro to find one, but no. Maldini steps across and makes a fantastic sliding tackle.
I mean, I'm not sure if Shellz was actually controlling Maldini or not there. If he was, props to him. If he wasn't, I mean, it's unlucky for Maestro, but he's getting in better areas now, and finally, a little bit of fortune for him after kind of knocking for a little bit, saying, I want to get back into this game. There's your ticket, but are you going to be able to take it?
So now this game just got very, very interesting. We have seen Maestro showing so much more attacking promise here in this second leg. Did take a little bit of fortune to find his way into the back of the net, but there is a little bit of hope here in this semi-final.
I think that's all he needed, was just a little bit of hope, just to actually say, I am in this game, I'm not being completely dominated. He's not that good of a defender, I can break through.
Well, here's Shellz then, looking to answer back. He wants that 3-goal cushion back again. With just a few moments to go here until half-time in the second leg, the referee's assistant will put his flag up there and pull the ball back there for an offside decision. Maestro's going to have one more chance here to go forward, potentially, with Vieira. Neymar trying to get the ball over the top of Sergio Ramos. You saw Mbappe just flying down the line there, trying to get on the end of that. But look at those stats. Possession very heavily in the favour of Shellz, but shots on goal, they're in the favour of the Frenchman.
Yeah, Maestro is going to start to hit it a little bit more. He's going to be trying to press Shellz, but Shellz has to play a simple game of keeping that ball. I just want to see from Maestro just trying to bring those wingers closer to him a little bit more. Those through balls aren't working particularly well over the top because Shellz is defending them so well. So maybe just some more little quick 1-2 passes from Maestro, like we've seen Shellz actually do when he's been going forward. Shellz could have easily found a 4th goal in this game, maybe a 5th goal. He was very close to just beating that final defender, and he might have been able to. But either way, the one thing that Maestro is going to be happy with, and maybe tweeting about, he's going to be saying, all right, I'm only 2 goals behind now at this point. It is definitely doable in 45 minutes.
So 45 minutes left then for Maestro to find a way back into this game. He needs 2 goals to send it to extra time. Whereas Shellz has got 1 foot in the PlayStation Grand Final here in London. Where, of course, Lev Vinkin is currently waiting to see who his opponent will be. From the restart then, Maestro with the ball. Fires the ball forward towards Neymar, but Shellz again defending. Even from the restarts here, so well done.
And from the counter-attack, being very patient. See, this is the difference. He plays that ball into the midfield, then plays it back to the left-back, but that's what you don't want to do.
That's perfect example of what you don't want to be doing. Mbappe now trying to find the ball inside again, but it's just a final pass at the moment that seems to be letting Maestro down. And
maybe that's why Maestro isn't taking those risks of trying to play the ball around. Maybe that's why he's going for the long through ball, the over-the-top through ball, because he doesn't want to give Shellz just an easy victory here by making that one mistake, by giving it to one of his oncoming attackers. That's something that I have to consider as well when I think of Maestro's gameplay.
Well, here's Neymar then, and here's Mbappe. Linesman's flag will go up. The Frenchman just getting ahead of the play there. And I wonder what point we're going to see another formation change here from Maestro.
And even though it's very easy to say, well, it's not an important game for Maestro because he's already got playoffs, a win here would probably guarantee him an eWorld Cup final spot. He's already 14th at the moment.
Big chance here, and Ronaldo is going to finish it. That's beautiful from Maestro. Found the ball inside, Cristiano Ronaldo. A little scoop turn onto his left foot, and a powerful drilled finish across goal. And for all the dominance that Shellz has had so far, now it's just a 1-goal game.
And maybe Maestro heard me. He heard the words eWorld Cup, and he was like, oh yeah, this is a big win for me. There's some serious Global Series ranking points available right now. And now suddenly, a game which looked so clearly dominant in the favour of Shellz has been flipped on its head, and Maestro has a chance to get back into this one.
And there's still time on the clock here for Maestro as well. 57 minutes on the clock. Over half an hour in game to find a chance to tie this one up. But here comes Shellz. A goal here might just extinguish the flames that might have started to be lit. They're sort of burning under Maestro at the moment. Here's Shellz, here's Mbappe. And there's the frame of Paolo Maldini, and it will be a corner hit to Shellz.
And Shellz just needs to take a deep breath and just focus on his game plan and say, look, I still have that goal lead, I'm still ahead, I can still play how I want to approach this game of FIFA. Maybe he might start throwing a couple more crosses in. He's been reluctant to do so in the early stages since he's seen Van Dijk at that that left back position. But there's also the case of if you go for that cross and you don't win the header, you are giving possession away to your opponent as well. And naturally, he wants to eat away at as much time as possible. Only 30 minutes left in game, and then Shellz suddenly is in a console final where he would face Lev Vinkin after this.
You got to think, though, maybe those thoughts are starting to creep into Shell's head a little bit here. He was up by 3, and now it's 3-2, and you start to think, oh, no, not this. How can I throw away a 3-goal lead? Well, one way to extinguish those thoughts from your brain is to score right now and give yourself a 4-2 lead. Marcelo in towards that back post. Oh, no, it's there, and he's done it! That's what he needed. And that's just going to restore that confidence. And Maestro, again, just hasn't been able to defend these crosses.
Not much he really could have done there. I mean, he's tried to do his best by bringing Van Dijk on the pitch, but unfortunately for him, it wasn't Van Dijk trying to challenge the header. It was R9 with acres of space in the middle. From the corner, so deadly if you can flick up and get it past that first man. That's 3 crosses, 3 goals for Shellz, and I feel like that's probably why Maestro's a little bit frustrated, because he's going to be saying to himself, well, what can I do differently here? Could I close the man down a little bit quicker, try and stop that pass? But he has to forget about it. He's still got time to get back into it.
Here comes Vieira then, striding forward, and Neymar just can't collect the ball again, and you can see the frustration now coming in from Maestro. Neymar wins it back though, but the referee's going to pull it back. Possession will stay with Maestro. Varane. Shellz with everyone behind the ball at the moment, holding on for dear life. He knows how important this tournament is and how important to his entire season, the next 25 minutes or so is, and he wins the ball back here, and now he can breathe a little sigh of relief because he knows he's going to be able to take a few moments out of this game. And look at the space here for Mbappe. Varane trying to get across desperately. And Shellz again showing such experience in these situations, Dan. Yeah,
when he doesn't have a guarantee run on goal, just going out wide, keep the possession, don't give the ball away. He's only going to attack that goal if he really sees an open opportunity, I feel. Just needs to make sure with these little passes around the back four, he doesn't make any mistakes to gift Vitality Maestro a way back into this game.
Well, Van Dijk does win that header there and does give possession back to Maestro. Hulik tries to get across there, gets a piece of it, gets a second piece of it. And Shellz now can power away. R9, space out wide here for CR7 as well. But again, look at the experience here of Shellz. Unless there's a guaranteed strike on goal, he's not going to take it, and he almost had one there with Kylian Mbappe.
He was almost there, but it means counter-attack potential here for Maestro.
And here is Neymar, and oh, Shellz has brought him down. Going to be a red card here, you have to imagine, for Raphael Varane. But in the bigger picture of things, was that a smart decision?
I mean, I don't like it, but I like it. It's unsportsmanlike, I guess you could say. However, somewhat intelligent. You see it in real football sometimes. You make that challenge, the player will walk off the pitch, they watch the rest from the dressing room, and they hope that they secure that victory. And I'm sure the rest of the players would applaud that player when they go back later.
It's going to take him one for the team there, isn't it?
But Shellz just has to hope, because if Maestro were to find a goal from this free kick now, suddenly he's against 10 men.
And obviously extra time potentially looming if this does get tied up now with 10 men on the pitch, makes things a little bit more difficult. So, was it a gamble here from Shellz? And is it going to pay off? Ronaldo across to Mbappe, deflection! And we've got a game on our hands here in London. Boy, have we got a game now.
And Maestro quite rightly gets up because justice is served. You've got to say, wrongfully brought to the ground by Shellz when he was through on goal in a 1v1, had that chance to get a goal. It's a little bit sloppy. It's hit almost everyone before it's gone in the back of the net. But Maestro's not going to care. And now these last 13 minutes are going to be absolute hell for Shellz.
Yeah, this is going to be nervy moments for not only Shellz, but a lot of his good friends who are watching in the arena at the moment. And this is just going to breathe new life into Maestro here, but he needs to pressure Shellz here. He needs to get the ball back, and with just 12 minutes on the clock, that's much easier said than done. Shellz, though, going forward here. Maybe looking to put the game to bed. It's such a difficult position to be in now for Shellz, but a goal here would really finish things off. Pele across to Hulik to finish it. Oh, he's hit the post.
That was the game for Shellz, but it doesn't go into the back of the net, which means Maestro's going to have more chances. And I said Shellz is not going to want to play with 10 men for the rest of this game, but he definitely won't want to be playing with 10 men in extra time.
Sloppy play, though, from Maestro. Has just gifted the ball back to Shellz. And with 7 minutes left in game, he needs to win it back, and Maldini does so. Hulik now coming forward for Maestro. A goal here, and you have to say advantage Maestro. Shellz down to 10 men. Mbappe twisting and turning. Oh, but that's a big tackle and an interception coming in from Shellz.
And now it's a very difficult game to try and keep that ball. It's so tough when there's so many shirts around him.
Space here for Ronaldinho. Strike from Ronaldo! It's 4-4! There's the Mbappe-esque celebration. And now Shellz has to think about that decision. Because the game is all tied up. And there's drama here in London.
And I can't tell whether Maestro's celebrating for fans, celebrating for himself, celebrating for Mbappe, celebrating for France. It doesn't blooming matter who he's celebrating for because he's back in this game now. He was 3 goals down. He looked down, he looked out. Shellz was dominating, but he's kept his chin high and he's pressed on. It looked like nothing was going to go his way when he was brought down, but he still got the free kick. He still scored the goal. And he won the ball back from Shellz several times in these last stages of this game.
I mean,
what a semi-final.
What's got to be going through Shellz's head right now? I mean, he's 3-0 up. He makes that decision to bring down that player as Maestro is striding through on goal. Varane gets the red card. Maestro gets fortunate from the free kick, the deflected free kick from Cristiano Ronaldo that found its way back into Shellz's goal. And then, I mean, now we're tied up and Shellz has got a player less on the pitch with extra time looming as well. You want drama? You got drama.
He would have had to sacrifice a very important player to make those changes so he could get a fresh back four. So he's not going to have as much attacking ability, but still has plenty of players who can do some damage here.
Still has plenty of talent as well as Ronaldo. Unleashes a shot from distance there. And Maestro's just going to boot this one forward. Goes long, looking for the head of Ronaldo. A goal here for either player would be a winner, but we are going to extra time. And wow. This is set up for an insane period of extra time.
I think you were quite right in saying it is advantage Maestro. He's got the momentum behind him.
He's got a player advantage on the pitch.
An extra player on the pitch. Even with Shellz's possession, 61% in favour of 39. He just wasn't able to hold on to the ball as much as he wanted to. There were several chances in the early stages of the game where he could have increased his lead, but tell you what, Maestro pressed on and he shows experience. He shows why he is one of the top goal scorers in this tournament. I mean, actually, I think with 4 goals, he's now just 2 goals behind M10 Houston. And now it's just going to be so difficult for Shellz mentally to stay in extra time here because he's going to be thinking, I had this game.
Yeah, I mean, he's
How
going
did that free kick go in?
He's going to be replaying that tackle over and over and over again if he doesn't manage to pull off what is now, you have to say, the upset with a player less on the pitch, with 10 men on the pitch. He had a 2-goal advantage in that situation. He could have let Maestro go through and score and kept 11 men on the pitch and had, you know, 11 versus 11 and a goal advantage, but he made that decision. He backed his ability to maybe see the game out, but Maestro has just said no. It really is as simple as that, and now we're into extra time here. And I'm sure Lev Vinken is watching this at the moment. The other player who's in the final on the PlayStation 4, just enjoying the stress and the strain that these players are going through.
Yeah, he's just sitting back, probably got his feet up, feeling comfortable, but also, this is the first time any player in the tournament has scored 4 goals against Shellz. I said that Maestro is going to have to do a lot. Well, he's dug deep and he has found those 4 goals, but he needs a 5th if he's going to be able to win this game in extra time. Otherwise, might be going to penalties, but still plenty of action here.
Well, Ronaldo does have some space out wide here for Shellz. Flicks it up, looks towards that back post. Pele gets up! And the 10 men of Shellz have again found a way to get into the lead. Maestro cannot believe it. Another header.
10 men, 9 men, 8 men, doesn't matter as long as you got someone to nod that ball in after the cross. But it's not Ronaldo for once. All that Shellz is going to care is he's got his lead back. It would have been so mentally draining the further he got into extra time here. But he takes the lead. He can start to play his possession-based football once again. And it becomes another simple task of
and he's
keep
won the ball back as well, though.
Keep it away from Maestro.
And that's a perfect start to keeping the ball. You've got to have the ball, and he's managed to pick up possession. And look at Shellz now, flowing forward. Mbappe gets lucky. The ball just ricochets back to him, and maybe Shellz is thinking here, hey, what was working for me in that first leg is still working here, even with the change of personnel. What a resilient performance this would be from the Englishman. With 10 men on the pitch to find a way to find yourself into a grand final. But can Maestro dig deep once more? Ronaldinho inside the box, gets the timing on the shot, but Marcelo gets the block in.
I think resilience is the key word for both of these players in this game, to be honest. They've both been digging deep, they've both been searching and using every skill they have available, whether it be just using in-game skills, mental battles, defensive abilities, personnel changes. It's all been there on the table for them.
Well, look at the space here for Ronaldo, and look at the space inside for Mbappe as well. Shellz might have a chance here to completely finish this game off, but Van Dijk gets back in to make a vital challenge. We're on the brink of half-time here in extra time. Is there going to be time to go forward once more? Maestro finding Ronaldo, Neymar, he's completely through on goal! Again, Maestro cannot beat David De Gea! How many times have we seen De Gea in the final moments of a game, or the final moments of a half here in London, produce an incredible piece of goalkeeping?
However, it was a pretty poor shot from Maestro. Nerves getting to him maybe a little bit when he got into that 1v1. There was so much he could have done. Just slot it to the right, low-driven shot, maybe a simple ball roll, and that you might have been able to beat the keeper, but sometimes you just hit it. You say, I'm in a 1v1, shoot. And unfortunately, David De Gea does enough. As you've said, this tournament, he has earned his spot. At the E-Premier League last week, there were definitely some weird situations with David De Gea where I was saying, maybe we should look at different goalkeepers in Ultimate Team, but he's made it up to me, I'd say.
He's certainly proven his worth so far here in London. What a performance this has been from Shellz. 10 men finding the goal. Maestro with the big chance towards the end of the game. The end of the half, I should say. To again tie up. 5-4 to Shellz, down to 10 men. Just 15 minutes more in game for him to hold on. Can Maestro find another way back into this? What a game this has been. Pull it into Neymar. Wide to Mbappe here, drives inside the box. Mbappe scoop turn. Shellz is just holding on here.
I mean, you can see Shellz,
he's holding on for dear life.
He doesn't know who to control, which player to control with when he's defending. Does he switch off? Does he switch on? Such difficult decisions.
De Gea with another save.
He's been reading the game so well all day long, all tournament long has Shellz. But now it's just going to come down to, does he have the bottle? Can he deal with the pressure? Because Maestro is going to be coming at him.
Oh, Varane has to deal with Mbappe there. And here comes the Frenchman once more. It's almost attack versus defence here, and the defence is holding strong here for Shellz. As he now releases Pele down this left-hand side. The man whose goal is separating these two players.
Runs the ball out of play, though. A little bit of a mistake from Shellz, and you saw frustration on his face because it gives possession once again to Maestro. And there is plenty of room out on this left-hand side to work with.
Ronaldo, Cricketta past Maldini, he's toast. He'll going to get the ball back here, but the ball will actually break to Mbappe, and look at the space here for Pele. Goes past one, Maldini wins it back again for Maestro.
And that's all Maestro has to do. He has to pressure so much. He has to bring every man forward now to try and search desperately for this goal.
Mbappe tries to get past Ramos. The Spaniard holding strong in defence. Ronaldo lets fly, and he's done it again! What a game this has been!
He slaps his chest for vitality. He gets back in the game again. And we're starting to head towards a penalty shootout to decide this semi-final.
Oh my God.
Shellz could just not keep out this man, as Maestro puts his 47th goal into the back of the net of this tournament.
There's going to be another twist in this. You just feel there has to be another twist in this game. Is Shellz going to be able to dig deep once more? Is it going to be Maestro who can steal victory at the death here? Or will it be the dreaded penalty shootout to decide these two?
Last attack is going to be Shellz, though.
Marcelo. Mbappe, there's a man over here. It's Mbappe. It's Ronaldo for Shellz, and he gets it all wrong. Oh, you cannot believe it. You couldn't write it. And it is penalties, Dan.
It's like he went for a chip. Maybe he got the low driven wrong, but the first penalty straight away down the middle for Maestro. Simple, easy, tactical, done.
Shellz steps up then, just to the right, 1-1.
The nerves of both of these players is going to be huge. Marcelo, another simple one down the middle. That's 2 in a row.
Pele, the goal scorer for Shellz, goes into the left-hand side and drills it home.
Sometimes you do just have to hit them hard, give yourself some confidence. Modric steps up, not down the middle this time though, just to the left.
Perfect so far from Maestro. Ronaldo for Shellz. 3-3, nobody's missing.
Who blinks first? That's the real question. Neymar down the middle again for Maestro.
Holding
3
his
of 4.
nerve. Pull it then. For Shellz, goes to the left and again just drills it home.
4 solid penalties from both means sudden death now. Mbappe puts it away for Maestro and it's all on Shellz. It's a must score.
Has to score to stay in this. Vieira versus De Gea. Sudden death now. Ronaldo steps up, goes bottom left. Maestro takes the lead. And if he saves this penalty, he'll be going through. Straight down the middle. Shellz stays alive.
It's going to be who just is going to maybe put too much power on it, put it the wrong way,
Down
but it's
the middle
still
again.
just easy down the middle from Maestro.
Shellz needs to score still. Marcelo puts it away. We're going all the way.
And remember, if it goes all the way, Shellz has 1 less player, but this one not saved either.
Perfect so far from both players. Maldini, De Gea. Maldini hits the post and Maestro's off. What a win from Maestro, but heartbreak for Shellz. Can you believe what we have just witnessed here, and a great show of sportsmanship from Maestro here. But there he is, he will be your finalist. Kylian Mbappe, I'm sure he's watching.